Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, biggest gob in sport. Today we're joined by Kent from Belfast in Northern Ireland. How are you doing, Kent?
How you doing, Russell?
You all right, mate?
Dead on. How's it going?
All right. How's your mum?
Dead on. The ring's good, Russell. Thanks.
You still got your jobs and that, yeah?
Yeah, flat out.
Fridge
Flat out,
full,
Russell.
fridges full, and cars full of petrol, yeah?
Yeah, it's like it's a simple life, simple
Yeah.
man. For me, that's all that matters.
Are
And
you
it
still
nothing.
are you still a bachelor, Kent?
Still a bachelor, yes. Yes, still a bachelor.
Stay that way. Don't be like Cameron. He's gone away to get married and have another.
Has he?
Yeah, he's another man down, man down.
Congratulations, Cameron. Brilliant. Cameron's actually a countryman of mine, to be honest, Russell. Did you know that?
I thought you were a Mancunian.
No, Cameron's from Northern Ireland. Cameron's from Carrickfergus.
Oh, is he? Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, something I didn't know about that, eh? Pop,
There you
pop, bang,
go.
eh? There you
I'm
go.
just I'm just looking at myself here, Russell. I actually think I look like Uncle Junior out of Sopranos. Flipping heck.
Yeah, you're a scary guy, Kent. You're a scary guy. Hey, women love you, Kent. Men want to be you.
That's it. That's just it's some guys got all the luck, Russell, don't they?
Well, like my man here on profile picture.
Yeah, it's just living the dream there, isn't it? I love the t-shirt. The t-shirt
Women
looks
love a
great.
good cook, you know, and a good muzzy.
Yeah, definitely do. I'm not a bad cook myself. I'm gonna cook something really nice later on.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
What
am.
you been cooking lately, Kent? What's
I'm
this
going.
ready steady cook?
I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna have a curry later on. I'm gonna make a curry.
You'll have a
Nah.
curry. What now? You've seen my profile picture. What are you trying to say, Kent? That my man here eats curry all the time. Might be Mexican with that Tash. You don't know, do you? What he is?
Yeah, he looks like something out of like a cheese and what are those 70s film Chings and Chong. He looks like something out of one of those films. So he
Yeah,
does.
he's all right, mate. He's local chef down here at Village, mate, at Edlow Grill. I've scooped him up.
You- You're winding me up, Russell. You're winding me up.
He's local happy fryer.
Yeah. Well, if he's working in the restaurant, I hope he changes that T-shirt. I hope he doesn't wear it every day.
I know he's punching a bit, isn't he?
Oh, he's living the. Listen, as long as the guy's happy, he's living the dream. That's all that matters, isn't it?
He only needs his frying pan and he's happy.
It's as bad as me. I'm wearing this Northern Ireland top every time I come on. Everybody's probably saying,
Yeah,
"Is
you've
that the
always
only?"
got that Northern Ireland top, Ken. Have you
Yeah,
forgot where you're from?
yeah. I just need the word to know where I come from. It just lets me know my identity.
Yeah, good man. Right, Ken, what's been happening in the world of boxing?
We've been spoiled for choice, Russell. It's like there's nothing happening for weeks and months, all talk. And last night we had three big shows on three different networks. That I suppose it was exciting, flicking through the networks. And the thing that was okay about it was that I think the broadcasters kind of spaced it out. You got you got Colin Lopez was on first. You had Chris Smith and Akoli on second, and you had Wood Lara on at the end. So I kind of got to see a bit of all those fights, which was good, but it's not good for the sport. That the board shouldn't have let that, and I think the broadcasters were selfish with that. They should have just done something for the fans and spread it out over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, what do you think about all dates and that, Ken? They were all on the same night.
It's disappointing. It's selfish of the broadcasters. It's stubborn. It shows that they're not really thinking about the fans, and you think about it commercially as business. You look at the sponsorship. The sponsorship, the people who are actually paying for ring sponsorship, the event sponsors, they're going to suffer as well as the fans, because they're not actually getting the numbers that would be generally watching one of those shows. So commercially, it wouldn't have been great for those partners. The fans as well, it's really disappointing. It's a bit awkward, all night you're flicking through certain fights and trying to see fights, and you're not really getting the best of it. Yeah, it's exciting and there's 3 big cards on, but it's just not great for boxing to have all those. And they were big cards. Like the card over here was a massive card. The fight over on Bournemouth was a massive card, and you had the Wood Lara fight now, which was massive. They're all big flagship events on their own. Never mind being all on the same night together. It was disappointing. I think the board should have stepped in and done something and made sure that the scheduling was a bit better. But we it's like I always say, no, I've got this saying, you kind of expect that, don't you?
Yeah, I bet you were flicking over on remote, weren't you? Can on speed dial, weren't you? All 3 channels.
Literally, I was actually going to bring my iPad down and have the iPad beside the TV. We use my phone, but I wasn't going to do that. I've already got 4 eyes as it is. Never mind. So I just kind of flicked around all the channels and just caught. I watched it. I prioritized the Lopez Conlan fight first. It was on at 9:30. It should have been on at 9, but one of the fighters had to be taken to hospital, so I had to wait till the ambulance got back before they started. Then I went on. I watched the Chris Bilm-Smith fight. After that, then I finished off with the Wood Lara fight at the end. It was good, going through it. It was exciting, but you kind of don't enjoy the fights because you're thinking about what's happening over here, and then you're getting text messages from your mates. Oh, he got dropped and he got a point off, and he's boxing well, and you kind of flick it over, so you kind of can't enjoy it. And I like to sit down and watch the undercards from start to finish, even the free to air stuff. And I didn't really get a chance to do that. For me, I was like screaming inside because I wasn't watching the full card.
Yeah, what do you think to Michael Conlan?
To be honest with you, I've got a few theories on this, and it goes back about 2 years. And the roadmap that they were doing at the time was they were trying to get a world title, and they brought him down to super bantamweight. He had 2 fights at super bantamweight. He fought Bellotta at super bantamweight. It was a razor thin win for Michael. And for me, at his age, bringing him
You
down
think
a
you should
weight
have
was,
reined him in then, Ken, a little bit?
yeah, I don't see why. He started off, he looked really strong at featherweight. Then they brought him down to super bantamweight. They were chasing after Stephen Fulton for the WBO title. That opportunity didn't happen. Then they went back up to featherweight again. I don't think you should be doing that with fighters in their late 20s at that stage of their career. I thought they should have kept him at featherweight. I noticed this week he looked really gaunt all week from Wednesday onwards. It's a hard weight cut. It's a hard weight cut at 31, making 9 stone. And I really favoured Lopez. What I favoured with Lopez is he comes from altitude. He comes from 3,000 to 4,000 feet above sea level. He's very fit. He technically he's a bit unorthodox, but all his key power shots come off the line. They're angled shots. He never throws straight punches. He punches really, really hard off the pivot. And I think Michael struggled with that last night. And I think Michael looked really good boxing as a southpaw. But some of the shots he was finishing was the lead hand body shot, and that was just keeping him at range, and that meant he was getting hit. Lopez was just hitting him at will at in close in, and I think that done the damage. He's a mass. Lopez is a huge puncher. You just got to look at what he done to Isaac Lowe. He punched Isaac Lowe into an oblivion.
Oh, but dropped. Going.
Yeah, he punched him into an oblivion. He boxed ahead of Josh Warrington. I thought in that fight He won, 8 rounds in that fight, easy against Josh Warrington. So he's a very, very strong fighter, very, very good champion. He's going to be really, really hard to beat, Lopez. Really hard to beat.
Yeah, it's. But where does Michael Conlan go from here now? Then, I mean, is he going to change his team, Ken? What do you think?
Well, Michael comes from an extensive boxing background. His dad is one of the best amateur coaches in the world. He's an elite coach. He comes from a great boxing family. His brother Jamie was a really good fighter. He's like what Jamie and Michael and his dad don't know about boxing isn't worth knowing. So they'll know what to do. I think the talk this week was that if he wins anyway, he will go up to super featherweight. Now he sells a lot of tickets. He's a massive following from West Belfast. I particularly thought that the roadmap they should have went was the Kiko Martinez fight first, a featherweight European title, then possibility a late summer fight for the world title. But he's got that link up with Top Rank, and he sells a lot of tickets. So I think it's not over yet for him. I think he'll take time out, and I think he'll step up to super featherweight and roll the dice. He's 31. He can't be making weight anymore at that age, especially featherweight. He'll have to go up to super bantamweight. Sorry. He will have to go up to the super featherweight, but that again, those guys are going to be punching even harder than the featherweight guys.
To be fair to Bricktop and the Bob father, they put 11 fights on at Belfast.
Yeah, it's really good. It's great to see. Belfast boxing in Belfast went through a real bleak period of not really having much boxing. We had some good fights with Brian McGee, then we had a bit of a stalemate for a few years. And then Clark Frampton came along and just transcended Irish boxing. Clark was a massive, massive ticket seller. We had that great nights at the Odyssey. We had a great night at the Titanic. The place where the Titanic Square, the 16,000. He won the world title against Kiko, and he had a massive following. And we had a bit of a null after that, and Michael Collins came along. He's very, very popular in West Belfast. So it's good for the West Belfast fighters that the guys are pro over that side of town, getting big opportunities to fight in the Odyssey and sell tickets. So yeah, it's good to see boxing in Belfast. It's a great fight city. It's very knowledgeable boxing fans here in Belfast.
Yeah, it's a good boxing bed, isn't it? There, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of great champions over the years. You go way back post-war. You've got Dave Boy McCauley, who was a great fighter, had some great nights at the King's Hall, had some great fights. We had Eamon Lochran was a WBO world champion. We had Wayne McCulloch, was a WBC world champion. Brian McGee had an IBO and a WBA interim belt. But Clark Frampton was a 2-weight world champion. We had fighters like Damien Kelly were IBO champions. So we've had a lot of champions from Belfast. We had Ren Burnett unified as well, and now we've got a lot of good fighters, on the undercards getting opportunities. So boxing in Belfast it's like near enough a national sport in Ireland and Northern Ireland, and we've got a lot of really good fighters over the years, and it's just it'd be good if it was more consistent. We continuously had those big nights at the Odyssey.
Yeah. Do you think that Michael Conlan will win a world title?
No, he's 31 now. He's going to have to step up to super bantamweight. I think the route that I'd like to see him go down is a European title. That'll let you know where he's at. He's had that loss to Lee Wood. he had a massive lead in that fight. Same type of result. He got knocked out. It was like delayed reaction, knockout. Will he fight again? Remains to be seen, but he does sell a lot of tickets in West Belfast, so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and fights at super featherweight. I hope he proves me wrong, but super featherweight, you've got Joe Cordina up there. You've got Navarrete. Navarrete, it's only one loss, and that was early on in his career. Joe Cordina is a massive puncher. Was the punch resistance there? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. He's going to need to come back and maybe have 2 or 3 more fights at super featherweight. Will he want to do that? It just remains to be. It all depends on the investment that Top Rank do. Top Rank have got a partnership with the Collins, so I think Bob Arum likes to come over to Northern Ireland and sees that they sell the Odyssey well. They sell out pretty much every fight. So it all depends. It's money talks, to be honest, Russell. It's all down to money, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. All right then. We'll jump from Bricktop's show to Eddie Hill's show. Manchester. What did you think to Campbell Hands of Foam turning into Hands of Stone? All of a sudden, he's this like roadman killer. What's going on?
To be honest with you, if you're not knocking out or stopping opposition at that level, he's been at that level now for 2 years. He's consistently fighting in these big cards. It's time he really needs to step up. Is he that bad? He has to get to 12-0 now as fighting that opposition. You've seen the first few fights, he was fighting 0 guys with 0 wins. It's time he stepped up. Personally, they're all Barker and Bellew and all are talking about how much he's improved and how good he's getting, and I don't really see any improvement. To be honest with you, he can't move his head off the line. I think it's hard to say that someone's actually improved when you're fighting such pure opposition. He needs to step up now. The Afik Diaz fight, that's something that Eddie's been talking about this last week. I think Eddie's kind of saying to himself now, well, does he really sell tickets? We're having to invest a lot of money in finding these opponents that he can beat all the time. It's time they kind of roll the dice with him and see where he's going to be at.
You reckon?
Need to. You can't. What are they going to do? Is he going to be 25-0 fighting that type of opposition? They need to know where he's going to go. He's 12-0 now. They need to know now what level he's going to be at, because fighting at that level, it doesn't really prove anything.
Yeah. Did you know all Bricktop's fighters and all Eddie's fighters all won last night? So
Yeah.
all Eddie's 8 won and all Bricktop's 11. So all nice and cushion it.
Yeah. It just makes for a perfect night for them.
That seems to be the trend now, doesn't it? Because it's that easy to match now. Promoters are everybody's just winning, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just that promoters now. We know that it's about protecting the investment. That if you're on a show there,
you've got to roll dice. Come on.
I said that fans need to. It's like we've got all this crap going on in DAZN. We've got all these crap misfit shows, and it's actually really, really bad for boxing because it's turning the casuals away. They want ready-made personalities. They want all these screwballs fighting each other. They want all this controversy. They want all this entertainment. And it's taking fans away from boxing, where it's getting to the stage now where building someone up to 15-0, 20-0 before they actually roll the dice is just as bad. I think it's time now that fighters actually know what level they're at and are fighting the level that they should be aspiring to get to. You can't be fighting at that level all the time. It's not good for boxing. I think I think boxing doesn't do itself favors sometimes by not making fights that the fans want to see on, especially on undercards. It kind of detracts away from actually watching a full undercard now.
Well, rest of the card were garbage, but Terry Harper fight with that Abersin were all right, wasn't it?
It was actually a good fight. I actually think Terry looked emotionally exhausted. Exhausted. I watched 4 rounds of it, the last 4 rounds, and she looked exhausted emotionally. I think, does she need to change her team round? Does she need to change something? You know, she doesn't seem to be carrying any power at all. You know, before down the weight, she seemed to be punching a bit harder. Has the Baumgardner fight took a lot out of her confidence? It was a closer fight than the judges give it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you see next for Terry Harper now? Because they're going to have to match her carefully because they don't want a puncher, do they? They're fighting like old women, aren't they?
Yeah, it's confusing. You don't know where she's going to go. I thought, as I said, I thought she would have been perfect for Katie Taylor, the homecoming last week. It didn't go down well. You know, Chantel Cameron came in and won that fight convincingly. That would have been a better fight for Taylor and Harper. So where do they go now? It's kind of just waiting for that Maya fight. You know, would you want to go through all that again? We know that there's been multiple pullouts and the date's been put back multiple times. Would you really, really want to go through all that? You know, I think it worked out that she was in a camp for 14 weeks because the fight had been put back so many times. It just gets to a stage where you just say, you know what, we're not going to bother now. Just go and do your own thing, and we'll find our own way through here. It's just taken forever. I think, does she need a break from boxing for a while and find out actually where they're going to go? Because
You mean which weight she's going to fight at?
The weight she's going to fight at, and where she's going to go. You know,
she's not a super welter, is she? Lighter,
no,
isn't she?
no, and they're constantly talking about Natasha Jonas. You know, that fight's never going to happen. You know, just forget about it. It was all right when Terry Hopper had the belts and Natasha didn't have a belt. You know, they didn't want to entertain it, but now because Natasha has all the belts, well, all of them bar one, they want the fight. So I think Natasha and Joe have their destiny and know what they're doing. I think when the boot's on the other foot, they don't like it as much.
Yeah, all right then. What about Lee Wood?
It's a really good measured performance from Lee Wood, but I thought Lara looked shot to pieces. I thought Lara looked dreadful. He looked like a different fighter. I was sending someone today on work, like, was that actually Lara? Was that the Lara we watched smash Josh Warrington to pieces? Was that the last Lara that put Lee Wood in the orbit? He looked like a completely different fighter. His balance looked completely gone. He had no balance. He didn't look fit. It was an easy night for Lee Wood. It was a really measured performance from Lee Wood, but I thought Lara looked absolutely terrible. I was saying I had this theory this week that, you know, because he missed a weight, he was kind of like trying to call their bluff because they knew that they were never going to cancel that fight. The amount of tickets that Lee Wood sold, he sold 12 coach loads of tickets for that fight. They weren't going to get anybody suitable at the last minute. So there was no way that Eddie and Ben Davison were going to pull that fight. And was he going to come in ultra strong? He just looked terrible. He looked shot to pieces, Russell.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He did. What do you think to Eddie's position now? Obviously, it's between him and Bricktop, who's sat on top of the perch in it at the moment. But you're probably going to tip towards Bricktop, aren't you? Because he's got Fury, hasn't he?
Has he got Fury? What's Fury
Well,
doing?
yeah,
I can't. To be honest with you now, I need to see consistent shows. I don't want to say, yeah, Frank Warren's number one because he's got
well, that's a good
Fury.
solid. That's a good solid 7 out of 10. Won it yesterday for Frank.
It was a good show. There was
So,
good
yeah,
names on the card. You had Kakachi on, you had O'Leary on, you had
McCrory.
Nick Ball on, you had Padraig McCrory on, who's an IBO. Padraig
Alan
McCrory's
Thompson. What are you on?
he's an IBO champion. Kakachi's an IBO champion. Nick Ball's a WBC silver. They're talking about a world title. You had Callum Thompson on, one of Joe's fighters coming through. That was a really good card. That's an excellent fight night. That is a brilliant fight night. But I can't say Frank Warren's number one now because he's got Fury. I can't say that because what's going to happen next with Fury? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I'm just sick of all the tweets. I'm sick of all the Facebook stuff. I'm sick of him fighting legs at Derek Chisora. I'm sick of him fighting the legs at Dillian White. What sort of money has Frank Warren and Top Rank lost on Dillian White fight? Purse bid was huge. What pay-per-views did that generate? Probably next to nothing compared to the purse bid. The Derek Chisora fight, what money did they lose on that? They're constantly trying to recoup money on Fury. I don't know where he goes from here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you think that Fury might be angling to go on his own? Look, he's already asked for his contract back off Arum, hasn't he, on social media?
I think it's that stage where it's not just him asking to go on their own. It's going to get to a stage where the promoter turns around and says, well, we have invested a lot of money here. What are we going to get back? The first Wilder fight done 800,000 pay-per-view buys, roundabout, and the next fight done like 900,000 pay-per-view buys in America. That's not huge. That is not huge for a big, massive heavyweight fight. The purse bid for the Dillian White fight was it the biggest ever purse bid for a world heavyweight title fight? What did it do in pay-per-view? Derek Chisora, what did it do in pay-per-view? It's going to get to a stage where they're going to need to start recouping money, and I can't see it. I can't see how they did it. The fights against Otto Wallin was on ESPN Plus. That wasn't even pay-per-view. The Tom Schwartz ESPN Plus, Safar Safiri, Pianetta. They're fights that didn't draw any pay-per-view. So it's going to get this stage now where they need to roll the dice and make money. They've been rolling the dice. They need to start making money back, and the type of money that Tyson Fury demands and needs paid. How are they going to generate the money back? When are they going to start making money? So I think that relationship between all of them is completely gone.
Kent, have we got in a situation where there's millions and millions and millions of pounds on the table and they can fight in UK? It's all there and generate jobs for people and get the country feeling good and all that. But yet they want to go to Saudi because it's a bit more money. But cost of waiting for the Saudi money, everything's parked up. So do these people really care about boxing fans, or are we just a piggy bank?
Definitely not. Do you know what? Why would you want to go to Saudi to watch boxing? Or you can't even go for a beer. It's hard for boxing fans and kind of that type of football / boxing fans to go and enjoy themselves. If it was Vegas, you can go. There's so much for you to do. It's going to get to this stage, and it's a really dear place to go. Saudi are going to be saying, "Well, why are we throwing all this money at boxing? What are we going to get back? When are we going to start reaping the rewards of this investment?" So I think it's a two-way thing. personally, I think all the Saudi talk, does it actually really happen? Is it just like hype at the minute around the Saudi? They're gonna want to know what they're gonna get back. They're gonna want to know, yeah, this is our cost, but when are we actually gonna start seeing that money coming back? I think they're all in dreamland at the minute with all this Saudi money. I can't actually see any of it happening.
Well, what did me and Julian say from day one? Anything you
Just
believe in boxing, anything you're told like that that's too good to be true, don't believe.
this all happened 5, 6 years ago when DAZN came in. You know, DAZN were throwing money at everybody. Everybody was rushing. You know, that's why that's why Frank Warren and Top Rank got involved, because they panicked and they signed fighters to deals that were that were massively inflated. They inflated their purses. You look at Fury. Uh, they signed Fury on this massive deal that was crazy, and it was basically just to keep fighters away from going to DAZN. And it was kind of a null in British boxing where all the fighters didn't want to fight in UK. They wanted to go over and fight on DAZN when Sky and Eddie had that dual relationship with DAZN and Sky that didn't work out. And it was all down to money. It's all down to inflated purses, and it didn't last. So if that didn't last, how is this Saudi thing going to last? You know, how is Saudi going to recoup all their money back that they're investing in boxing? A massive gate is going to generate 10 million. Really, do you honestly think that the promoters involved are going to give a percentage of the pay-per-view rights? Can't see that.
No, so do you think Fury will fight Dempsey McKean in Australia?
Who's the site fees for Australia and that side of the world is nothing. It's not gonna really generate anything. I think Dempsey McKean's one of the worst heavyweights I've seen in recent times. He's a heavyweight that punches like a featherweight. I can't see anybody wanting to watch that. I think if Fury's going to do that, he's going to have to take a massive pay cut. I can't see him wanting to do that.
No.
No, it's all talk.
Yeah. What about Big Meech and White? I mean, are they gatekeepers now? Because there's no belt, is there? And they're not top five, are they?
No, no.
Gatekeepers, aren't they, really?
Well, my opinion is that when you've been knocked out multiple times and you've lost it, the gate has to shut sometimes. You know, the gate's locked. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even call them gatekeepers. The gate is now locked. I think they're just sitting waiting out for a big fight. I think like the whole heavyweight division are just sitting waiting in Saudi money. They're sitting waiting in this tournament, this pie in the sky tournament. They're looking to extend it. They said that, yeah, we're going to extend this out to the whole heavyweight division, and it's kind of the heavyweight division's kind of gridlocked at the minute. And to be honest with you, AJ's over there training in America with Crawford and Spence being made. He's going to be on the back burner even more. So I can't really see him getting priority in camp. And you know, AJ, he has to have priority in his training camp. He has to be the priority. And I can't see him getting that.
No, no. How do you think AJ is coping with his new team? Do you think he's made a mistake going there, Kent?
I think he's went through a lot of coaches this last few years, a lot of ideas. I think he looked terrible that last fight. He just looked. I don't think it's the camp. I don't think it's the team. I think it's him. I think it's him that's the problem. He's terrified of getting hit. Where before, when he was a young pro, he was just walking forward. And if you could get AJ throwing 3 to 4 combinations around with 2 power shots in those combinations, he would be hard to beat. He's a big, strong puncher. He's getting to the stage now where he doesn't even want to commit the combination shots, combination punching. He just looks terrified of getting hit. I think it's in his head. I think that's the problem. I think he's went through. It's like trying to find the magic bullet. He's constantly looking for this magic bullet and this golden ticket to get him back. I think he's actually the problem, not the coaches.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that he'll ever go back to McCracken, or do you think that bridge is burnt?
I think if he goes back to McCracken, it has to be down to Rob. You know, it's going to be down to his terms. You know, he stuck by him as an amateur. He mentored him really well as an amateur. He was his pro coach. All of AJ's best performances have been under McCracken.
Yeah.
But what you start having is the bag carriers coming in, the support team coming in, the mates coming in, walking around with their tracksuits. And I think all that becomes really confusing. It becomes a distraction in camp. And I think AJ's very strong minded, where he has a say in what actually happens in training. I think a lot of fighters do now. And I think that's been the problem for so long. And I think he was found out against Andy Ruiz.
Yeah. Do you think he ever recovered from Ruiz?
Never.
First one.
Never. He hasn't been the same fighter. And I actually tipped Ruiz to beat him in that fight. I think the key for beating AJ was the same time punching. Punch the same time as him, get your shots off and land. You know, if you have good hand speed, you can catch him. You know, you can catch him with same time punching. Yeah, he's going to hurt you, but you're actually going to hurt him as well. And I think he has not recovered from that. He's went backwards. He's tried amateur coaches. He's had pro coaches, different types of sparring. I think he is actually actual problem. I think the resurrection of Tyson Fury coming back actually hurt him as well, because when he was at his best, Fury was retired at the time and wasn't on the scene. And since Fury's come on the scene again, I think that's actually hurt him as well. I think the popularity of Tyson Fury, say, pre 6 months ago, pre a year ago, has hurt him as well. And those losses, I just think he hasn't recovered from that as well.
You want to go on to part two, Ken?
Yeah.